The first one is pure mathematics, okay, and the second one is applied mathematics.
Okay, now we can make it a little more interesting by, we move it in the y direction, in the vertical direction. We also want to move it horizontally also.
1600s and the 16th century. It's actually quite funny, yeah. People back then used to have mathematics duel. I mean, people on the street, they are challenging each other with math questions. So yeah, just imagine that you are walking on the street and then you see two people battling each other, but not with violence, not with muscles, but with mathematical questions, mathematical problems. It will be recorded during the exam. Okay, so that's why you have to make sure the equipment, the computer or the PC that you are using should be.
You can also choose our third language, Russian. After you're choosing the language, you can start the exam by clicking the
UTC +7, right? Pacific region, yes. Kim Levi, where are you from, Kiev? Can you introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Kim Levi.
Yes.
I'm from Cambodia.
Cambodia.
Oh, Cambodia,
Yes.
okay.
I think it was great. It
Yes.
wasn't very hard, but I like the side of it, how it was
Okay.
formed,
Yes.
and how you get the answers of it.
So now you can start the exam. Good luck. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, we have also here Sofia Pardes from Santiago de Sil. Okay, so actually we divide the session into three different batch. Okay, the first one was for ASEAN region, and then the second one for Europe and Africa region, and now we are here in the third batch, which is
I'm from Chile.
from Chile. Okay, thank you. What time is it there? I was joining the simulation, so you can, when you click the link, you can see your report. Okay, which topic did you answer correctly, which topic did you answer incorrectly. You can, if you have any question, you can chat us in the live chat box in the website. Okay, thank you very much. Okay.
I feel so excited to join this competition because I can compete with other children around the world.
The competition did well. I did well in it, but I don't know about the score. And I quite enjoyed it because it's making me think harder.
When I was doing the competition, I kinda enjoyed it. Mostly because web design was designed and it used one of the best exam platform I ever experienced.
So this competition was interesting and extraordinary. I was excited about participating in this competition.
So the IMC 2021 competition was good and exciting. Of course, I really enjoyed this competition.
The exam was very good but a little bit challenging.
This is my second time participating in this event. The exam is actually quite challenging.
The site, the platform is very good. Every information is there. You just use the time and the rule is there. You can do everything there. Unlike other competition which the information is scattered everywhere and you have to do a lot of stuff and it's just complicated and I don't really like it.
It's professional and the developers put very hard work on developing it. It's neat, it's easy to use, easy to understand.
But overall, I enjoyed the competition because the platform we used was really easy to use, and I've got experience of joining online mathematics competition.
About the platform IMC uses, the platform is good and easy to understand for me.
It's very good. I can use it very well, and there is no error while doing the test.
The questions were well designed. Most questions are from medium intermediate range, so it is good for people who are relatively new in Mathematics Olympiad and for people who are already experienced in Mathematics Olympiad and looking for new challenges.
The questions are really advanced and makes it it's kind of difficult for me, but yeah, probably I just need to learn more.
I think its questions were very classy and internationally qualified.
This mathematics competition is fun and challenging for me because it has a lot of easy problem and also some hard one, but the time is very little, so I have to go really hard on them. And also you cannot get back into the other previous problem that you have answered, so it's kind of a challenge, I think.
The IMC questions were challenging and it made me learn more about math.
There are some easy questions and there are also hard questions. The questions are challenging me and give me more knowledge and experience in solve math Olympiad problems.
I think you need to increase the time because we need to think.
All good, all fine.
I hope that I can go back to previous problem that I've answered next time, because it's just frustrating to stuck in one problem and you just want to skip it a little bit. You want to check if something easier is ahead and you can get back soon after that, but you cannot. While if on paper you can easily do that. So yeah, I just hope that we can do that later. So yeah, definitely I am going to go into IEMC again next year.
Yes, I will.
Probably yes.
Of course, I will join this IMC again because I like IMC very much.
Hello from Nebula Academy in Edmonton in Canada. I want to take the opportunity to thank the Universal team who organized the International Mathematics Olympiads. Our students have been enjoying the Olympiads, attending them and hopefully getting good results, and this year I'm sure that they will get good results as well. I want to thank the organization committee and hope that you celebrate many more years. Thank you and good luck.
Hello, my name is McDonald Chinze. I'm from Malawi, Bede International Schools to be more specific. I was one of the people who were helping with the competition we did recently. The competition was a Universal International Mathematics competition. The competition went very well. We don't have any problems. We just had a few login problems here and there, but it was very smooth. I wish to meet you again next year. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Yanazar and I'm a teacher at Nursultan Bilim Innovation High School from Kazakhstan, and we have participated in this International Universal Mathematics competition, and we can say that the questions were very interesting, problems were challenging, and students have enjoyed every bit of the problem. The judgment was very objective and on time. Organization was beautiful. So what we can say is we recommend you to participate in this Olympiad and challenge your knowledge of mathematics.
Hello, my name is Thokozade Mango from Malawi at Bede International High School. So this year we participated for the first time in the International Universal Mathematics Olympiads. It was a great competition for our students here in Malawi. We had students from other international schools participating in this Olympiad for the first time, and our students too. They were very excited. The questions were a bit challenging based on the feedback that we got from the students, but they loved the exams and they look forward to sit for the Olympiads next year. So we hosted this year's Olympiads here in Malawi, and hopefully we will also host the next upcoming mathematics Olympiads from Indonesia. We're very grateful for the company that organized this, and we hope for that one day we'll also have our own local international Olympiads. Thank you very much.
Alright, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and welcome to yet another event by Komodo Mathematics Festival webinar series, which in this case is the second one that we held this year. Webinar series of Komodo Mathematics Festival, Math of the World, Quality Math Education in Secondary School. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you know that this is only a small part of all the events that we have prepared in these beautiful competitions. Apart from this, we also have the weekly quizzes and weekly puzzles that we shared on Instagram weekly and frequently. And all students can join for free simply by registering themselves in komodocompetition.com and finish the puzzles and the available quizzes, and then one lucky winner will receive $10 every week. Apart from that, of course, there is the competition itself, which will be held on the 1st April, and then we'll be announcing the details soon, or you can also find the details about the competition on the website. While actually you only have 4 days left to register to the competitions, to the competition itself. So if you or your students are interested in joining these competitions, which I believe you will not regret it, considering all the experiences that you will receive and all the competition atmosphere and all that, I really highly recommend you to actually register to these competitions simply by visiting komodocompetition.com. Before we start our event for today, let me introduce myself. My name is Adi Shirodharmawan, and I'll be guiding you through all the events that we have prepared for today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you remember what the tagline is for a Komodo competition, the tagline of Komodo competition has been the same since the first year and approaching the second year, which is a playing ground for agile young minds. All right, in this webinar, so in order for us to be able to enjoy the webinar really well, we want you to change your name, rename your Zoom with the format of name dash school or university or institution. So for example, if you're from Eduversal, you can use Adi-Eduversal or Eduversal-Adi or anything. Apart from that, you can also type in your name in the chat box, and you can also use this, the virtual background that has been prepared by the committee. So for some of you who actually do not know what Komodo competition is all about, or to give you a good example of how the Komodo competition was held last year, which was super interesting, super fun. A lot of people joining now competitions, and we're all having fun together. We have prepared a special video of the highlights of Komodo competition last year. So it would be 2022 of Komodo competitions. And let us witness together what we have been doing in this past couple of years, especially in these competitions. All right, Mr. Operator, could you please play the video for all of our guests for today? Math Festival grand launching. So this is it. We have been teasing the event for so long.
This event is not just another mathematics competition, but also applying ground.
Are you ready? Let's take the picture together. 1, 2, 3, cheese! Next page, second page. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
We learned that coding is not as hard as what we thought. Okay, even kids may understand to do coding right now. So now let's check that. Okay, when it hits the ball and then the game will stop. Okay, now the bear cannot walk again.
I will just show this like intervals. We call intervals like 0 to 1 interval, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. Each into brain and heart. So you will find the realities of the universe easy.
So if you think about mathematics concepts, I think many of you will agree that the concepts in mathematics were invented to help people understand the phenomena in our life. For over 2,000 years before Diophantus, the mathematicians brought out equations and solutions in words or sentences without using any symbols or abbreviations.
You have to know like the deeper principle behind that formula.
Remember, you just choose a word and draw that word. All right? Okay, yes. Now, Jipara is the artist. Okay, Jipara. Come on, choose one word. Yeah, we got the winner for the first.
To play Sudoku, you have to follow the instruction. Yeah, you have to follow the rules.
Duel with your friends using one phone. You can duel with your friends to see which one is fast.
And this picture is representation about tangent line to circle. The point where intersection occurs is called the point of tangency.
Friends, can you count how many Mrs. Donuts are there? Let's count together.
For example, we want to find the values of cos 180.
From the scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that you're going to snatch the absolute winner for this competition?
I would say 6 because I kind of find out about this kind of late.
We used time only if two participants get the same point. But the most important thing is the point.
How did you prepare for the competition? Did you study? Did you read some books, or what did you do?
No, I just like study and go on some sites and like research them.
And the duration is 2 hours. Okay, we divide into three different sessions. As you know, we are in session for Asian and Pacific.
From the scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that you are going to be the winner?
10.
10! Oh my god, you got 10 out of 10. Okay, good luck then. You have quite the high bar you set up for that, eh?
I'm from Brazil actually, but now I live in Mozambique. My school actually likes doing Olympia and competitions a lot. They say it's very important for college and these things. So they told us.
So how to do the exam? So you have done your simulation, you have filled in your checklist, you should be good to go. But in case that you forgot how to do the exam, I will remind you one more time. So it's quite simple, just A, B, C. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the highlights of Komodo Mathematics Competition 2022. It was quite an event packed with actions, packed with a lot of fun mathematic related events and all that. And of course, this year, Komodo Mathematics Competition 2023 will not be less fun, but it will be boosted and we will be having even more events, even more fun with mathematics, even more challenging questions and all that. All right, I already, so if you monitor the chat box, if you monitor the area in which people are typing where they're from and what's their name, you might see a lot of names, a lot of areas in Indonesia or even from abroad. We have people from Lamongan, we have people from Celebes, we have people from Kazakhstan, we have people from Medan, from Uzbekistan and Bogor and a lot of countries. So I believe this is a good opportunity for us to actually take a picture together. In this case, I would like the help from operators to take pictures of us together. So if you're still having your camera off, I would like you to open your camera right now. I still see quite a lot of people turning off their camera. So could you please open your camera? We'll be taking picture together. All right, operator, are you ready? Please open the camera. Okay, you might accidentally actually spotlight thing for yourself. Okay, ready from the page one first. We start with page one. All right, let's do all the style that you want to show the camera. I'll just do thumbs up, or I'll just do this usual style that I'll be showing the camera. All right, operator, are you ready? Everyone ready? 1, 2, 3, cheese. All right, moving on to the second screen. All right, 1, 2, 3, cheese. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm to be honest, I'm honored being able to be hosting this event at this scale with people coming from a lot of part of the world, a lot of countries in different part of the world. I will not bore you with any more of my presence and my nonsense, even though I'm the host of this event. We actually have a person more suitable and even more capable than me to be hosting or to be conducting the discussion and the webinar. Among us, we have Mr. Fendi Septianto. Mr. Fendi Septianto, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning, Mr. Hadi. I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. All right, Mr. Fendi Septianto will be our moderator for today. Why I said that he's more capable and more competent than me in this field, the field of mathematics especially. Mr. Fendi Septianto is actually one among many of the favorite lecturers in the University of IPB, Bogor in Indonesia, one of the most well-known university in Indonesia, especially in the western part of Java. And at the same time, he's also active as a tutor for mathematics Olympiads. In terms of education, you should not be doubting Mr. Fendi in this kind of things because Mr. Fendi finished his bachelor degree in mathematics in Middle East technical universities in Ankara, Turkey, and then finished his master degree in University of Indonesia. Of course, the same in the field of mathematics. So, Mr. Fendi Septianto, are you ready to be hosting? I will be passing the baton to you because you know you are more capable than me, especially in the field of mathematics. You have been in this field for long. Are you excited? And you have maybe opened the event with some messages to the friends, or maybe giving some insights into the webinar for today.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for the kind introduction. Yeah. So we have our speaker here. I think he's already joined. Yeah. So yeah, once again, thank you, Mr. Adi, for the nice introduction. Well, I will be taking over as a moderator for a while. So I hope you don't mind. Okay, so first I want to greet everyone here. Good morning, everyone. Well, regardless of whether it's actually morning in your place or maybe it's afternoon or it's evening, it's always good to say good morning because it keeps you fresh Yeah. I want to introduce our esteemed speaker here, Mr. Abdul Kasim Ahmedov. Hello, sir.
Hi.
Okay, so he is from Kyrgyzstan, yeah, and currently he is doing his PhD at University Malaysia Pahang. Okay. So Mr. Abdul Kasim is very experienced in math education. Previously, he worked as head of department in international schools in Myanmar and also in Cambodia. And he also trains students for international mathematics Olympiads. Okay. Now, currently, he is working at Paragon International University as a senior lecturer in mathematics. So his talk today will be about quality math education at secondary schools. So yeah, as we know, mathematics is very important, especially in high school, because it will prepare the students for university and further in their career. So without further ado, yeah, I will soon give the baton to Mr. Abdul Kasim. But first, I would like to remind the audience, yeah, if you have any question whatsoever, you can type it in the chat box. And after the talk, we will have a Q&A, question and answer session. And two lucky question askers, so we will choose two persons to get some special prize. Yeah, so make sure you ask the best question so that you can win the prize. And also, of course, we are excited to listen to the webinar right now. So without further ado, Mr. Abdul Kasim, the stage is yours. You can start.
Thank you, Mr. Fandi. Thank you very much. Okay, good morning, everyone. One more time. Actually, we could see only a few people on the screen, but usually, this kind of seminars, if it is physical, it will be, usually it's more efficient because sharing the same room in the same, I don't know, classroom, discussing and sharing your thoughts with other math teachers and blah, blah, blah. Actually, it is more efficient. But now we are going through very, how to say, rapid development of technology, and that's why everybody is getting used to this technology. But still, we are novice, I think, in this regard, because of the internet connection speed, and because of maybe not everybody has access to, how to say, maybe high internet speed or a nice laptop or telephone and blah, blah, blah. But still, at least, making a network around the world in this way is also really nice. I really enjoy sometimes, because you can reach anybody. Now, I don't know how many people around here. I cannot say everyone here, but I guess we have around more than 100 people from different countries. Okay. And once again, actually, a few days ago, my friend Mr. Mehmet, currently he's working in Indonesia, he actually invited me as a guest speaker here to talk about, in general, math. Okay. And first, I thought, okay, now I'm teaching at university. Should I do it or not? And immediately, in a blink of eye, I just remembered all the stuff that we did with my friends when I was teaching at secondary schools, or also for a short period of time. Also, I taught primary school students in Myanmar or in Cambodia. And I say it's a kind of refreshing. That's why I accepted, and I decided to, how to say, join this team and let's say, share my experiences. Okay. And I was thinking about what should I talk about this. And most of the times, in my math department meetings, I try to focus on the quality. If in a school, if students are not talking about, let's say, math, or if they're talking about something else, Of course, I'm not comparing, but that means that actually you are not providing quality math education to the students. If you are providing quality math education to the students, even in their daily life, they should be able to visualize, right? Even at home, they should be talking about maybe math teacher or maybe math homework or something else. Even at school, they must be discussing. Why is it so? Let me just share one memory. After that, I will start. Okay. When I actually started studying at high school in Tashkent in 1996, and also actually I studied in a kind of international school. The first year we had to study only English and the language, 2-3 different languages, okay, every day. So we actually train us first for the year 2, year 3, year 4, because if your English is weak and you cannot actually study everything in English, okay. So every day, in the early morning, you should wake up and memorize the words. And our teacher was very strict. At the same time, very respected teacher. We loved him so much. He was foreigner. And now still we remember, every time when we actually have conversation with my high school time, we remember that teacher. Okay, oh, he was like this, he was like this. And also I think as a math educator, in the future, until the end of their life, if students remember you when they actually face any kind of challenge related or not related to math, okay, that means that we actually gave them quality math education. And that's our purpose. That's why in our presentation today, I'm going to talk about these things. Okay, actually, I also join a lot of seminars and conferences, usually just talking about theoretical things. That's not my style. Okay, I'm just going to here share my experiences with you and also challenge. Okay, and after that, maybe if you have any questions, after all, now we have a network, okay, and directly or indirectly, sometimes you can have connection and we can organize, I think, another this kind of virtual conference. So before I start my conference, I want to actually read one quote. After actually I received this invitation, I started reading a book about what is it, keeps teachers going. It was written by Sonia Nito. That's what experienced teacher who taught in United States. Okay, actually, I suggest this book to everybody. Let me tell you again, what keeps teachers going. And I was reading a book. Of course, there are a lot of nice things there. And the first, I just took one quote from this book. Okay, let's read this. And after this, I will start my presentation. In this quote, before starting his chapter, actually, he just embedded this quote at the top of the chapter. A life in teaching is a stitched together affair, crazy quilt of odd pieces and scrounged materials, equal parts invention and imposition. To make a life in teaching is largely to find your own way, to follow this or that thread, to work until your fingers ache, your mind feels as if it will unravel, and your eyes give out, and to make mistakes and then rework large pieces. Okay, what is it actually? Maybe at a glance, okay, we may not understand much. What is this quote about? Now, if you just consider, for example, your first day, I don't know, I think most of the teachers here, experienced teacher. I have been teaching math for about more than 20 years. They say 23, 24 years. Now, I remember the first time when I taught students, step by step, maybe grade 5, grade 6, and grade 7, and grade 8, right? Now it's grade 11. Now they go to university, they graduated. Now they are living their professional life. And sometimes you receive a letter. Okay. So, Mr. Qasim, actually, you remember you thought about this quote. Now I see this in real life. Now I understand how important it is, so that I'm pushing my kids, to get better education and blah, blah, blah. And that's the thing, sometimes you have desperation, sometimes you are motivated, sometimes you may think that should I stop this shop and blah, blah, blah. But somehow you are, this kind of things, you are actually making a big picture, but little by little, as if like you are doing everything with a small needle, right? You have a needle and thread, and together you're trying to make or produce something. Okay, so it's about in general. Now, in this session, I'm going to talk about why do we need to teach math? That is very central question. Even math teachers, they don't know why they teach math. Because sometimes I receive these kind of questions and I'm puzzled. And you're a math teacher, still, if you did not convince yourself why you are teaching math, the problem starts here. First we have to convince ourselves why we are teaching math. Why is it important, right? So that the students can understand what is important. Maybe sometimes, you know, we should not understand much, especially at university level. The knowledge is knowledge, you should take it. But this in secondary schools, actually scenario is different. Students must be convinced why they are taking this math subject. Okay, for if you convince, then it will be easy to, how to say, to teach math. So after that's actually also the first one. Why do we need to learn math? First, from students' perspective. The second one is from teachers' perspective. I'm going to talk about the thing, okay? And the second one is delivering math classes. Delivering math classes means that starting from leaving your home, okay? How we should go to school and enter the classroom and meeting your students and sitting plan and everything. That's also one of the important factors for delivering or teaching high quality math. And assessments and term projects and the meetings and clubs, why actually the things are important and related to quality math education, and extracurricular activities, competitions, Olympiads. Actually, all of the things, they are different factors of quality education, quality math education. And that's why I think we have to go through this. These are the things that I remember, you know, during my high school time or secondary school time, that always I was talking about in math departments, you know. That's why I'm going to talk about these things. Number one, now let's talk about ourselves for teachers. Okay, the question is, why should we teach math? Maybe before this, why did we become a math? And after the why should we math? You know, for every profession or to be successful in every profession, and three factors play really important. What are they? Number one is it's autonomy, right? The second one is mastery, and the third one is purpose. So that is autonomy and the mastery and the purpose. Now, actually, these things drive you from one point to another point. These things actually bring you success or achievement, okay? And actually, all of the things, it really exists in math education or teaching math. Why? For myself, again, I'm just sharing my feeling, you know. Again, why is it so? For example, sometimes I ask, do I enjoy math? I think more than 20, necessary years, still when I go to the class, I'm really excited. I want to teach more. I want to teach more, you know. I never say that, oh, I don't want to teach math. Sometimes you have sometimes you have, what is it? Desperation. When? If students, they seem that they understand your topic, but when you give quiz or midterm or exam, actually they get so low scores, okay? At the time, then I try to question myself, okay, maybe I couldn't teach. What should I do? Maybe slow down. And as I get some suggestions from my students, you know, I just give survey to my students. I may ask a question. If you have any ideas, send it to me. So we need to focus on some weak students, you know, we have to arrange some extra class. It's all about, now it is more than teaching, is more than, it's like commitment, you know, you need to have some kind of commitment. If you are just teaching for salary, it's a problem. Sometimes you should be able to sacrifice some time, even without expecting anything in return of your commitment. And that's why these things, autonomy, mastery, and purpose, and everything actually exists in math. Why is it so? Number one is autonomy, right? Well, what autonomy means, that what is it? It is a kind of freedom, right, to do your job based on your skills or knowledge or your background. In math, why do we have autonomy? Because you can teach most topics, maybe if not every topic, right, in any way you like, right? For example, let me just give one example. Let's say you are teaching trigonometry to grade 9 students, okay, in the class. And sometimes when I took my students outside, you know, you just see that all their eyes lit up. Why? Because we are doing something different. Go outside, for example, see maybe high skyscraper or maybe one tree, okay, and show them how to estimate the height of the tree using this concept, for example. And another example, I'm talking about autonomy, how much free we are comparing to maybe other subjects, okay? So we can actually have this autonomy in teaching math. Another thing is what I did during my teaching at secondary school, the things I cannot do at university because university education is a bit different. At high school, for example, we organized, for example, a short trip with students to the Central Bank of Cambodia. Okay, we just went there. At the time, I was teaching students financial transactions. Okay, it's about how to actually do higher purchase stuff, or how to calculate simple interest or compound interest or continuous interest, or how to calculate, for example, tax, right, and how to pay your utilities bills and blah, blah, blah. And actually, I just did this through one of our students. Okay, her mother has a good position and she arranged everything. She was working actually in the National Bank of Cambodia. So even they took us, you know, to the highest part of the most secret part of the bank, and they give us very short seminar how to calculate simple interest and compound interest. And they ask some questions. Students immediately answer the question, you know, and they were also so happy. Oh, you know this one, and they actually witness that's what they are learning at school. They are going to learn in the future. You know, it's a kind of motivation for the teacher as well as students. You know? And this kind of stuff, you know, you can just take out and you can teach maybe under the tree or outside the garden if the students are bored in the class. And second one is, what is it? Let's say, again, you know, for example, I just give one example from trigonometry. Most students fear learning trigonometry. The second one is, for example, let's say, was it visiting some other stuff when you're teaching let's say financial transactions, right? In grade 9, you can take them to maybe tax department or maybe electricity or that company, so that how they calculate and blah, 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 and this kind of stuff. Okay. And the second one is mastery. So we thought actually it's autonomy, mastery, and the third one is purpose. What is mastery? Mastery is, you know, mastery is you actually teach more and more, right? You actually get better, getting actually more experience. And also in terms of also your knowledge, it gets better and better, because learning math is a kind of endless journey, right? Comparing to our lifetime, maybe you're on average, we are living maybe 65 or 75 years, right? And now these days, you cannot finish learning math. But as you go deeper and deeper, you are more interested, right? Especially as math teachers, most of you maybe have experienced this. Sometimes students ask one question, maybe at the time idea does not come. If you come back home, you cannot sleep at night. And personally, I cannot sleep. You know, I try to find a solution. Why I cannot get this? You know, always you're pushing it forward, always actually pushing it to, how to say, make improvements, right? But still now, you know, we have been teaching for many, many years. That a lot of problems, interesting problems, still actually we have to struggle to, how to say, solve those questions. And that's why mastery is totally actually in math. As you make more improvement, you get deeper. As you get deeper, you actually get more interested, right? You really enjoy. And that's why in teaching math, you know, having intuition is really important. A lot of, especially that what teachers make mistake at schools is, you know, they just teach quadratic equation. Okay, this is the quadratic equation, and that is the steps. Okay, first find discriminant, after that x1, x2. So all right, the first part is this. The second part is, after practicing a few questions, immediately application, right? Application from real life. For example, if you're talking about, let's say, parabolic antenna, bring the small one to the classroom, okay? Let them touch it and see it. If possible, do some measurement, okay? And by the way, it just came to my mind. Also, I want to mention that in this kind of things, you know, using United States, actually the books which are published in the United States. And I find that really useful, because for most questions, they give real life examples. But in some Russian books, I don't see much. In other books, I don't know. But most of the time, I use maybe Singaporean books or US books, okay? And a lot of nice applications. And the third one is purpose, right? The purpose, now plus autonomy. And the second one is, what is it? Mastery. And third one is your purpose. Purpose means to prepare for yourself. If you're doing something to reach your achievement, right? If you're teaching students, to see, right, the reflection of these things in your students. Like, for example, once again, you know, you are teaching the students and maybe participate in math Olympiads like Komodo, and after that they go to university. And after that, what is it? Let's send me a letter. What I learned at high school or secondary school or participating in this kind of Komodo helping me a lot at university. Now I feel that I am the top student at this university. It's not actually usual universities, maybe one of the good universities in maybe US or developed countries, you know. Now you have this purpose. When you see this, is a now actually mission is accomplished, you know. You see that how you have this kind of sweet feeling. And I think they're things that keep teachers going, you know. Sometimes, of course, we have hopelessness, desperation, and blah, blah, blah. But besides this, you know, we just keep teaching, also working on ourselves, okay? Working ourselves, I think that actually for math teachers, we will have our own life and a happy life and what is a successful career. Anyway, let's move on. Now, from students' perspective, okay, now let's try to talk about, answer why students ask, why should we learn math? For example, we are learning trigonometric identities or trigonometric equations, right? For the rest of my life, I'm not going to use this. Why should I learn this? And forget about the secondary school students. Even I received this question at the university, like civil engineering students or engineering students. You are teaching calculus, and they ask, why should we learn this? Or computer science students, you know, you're teaching, let's say, linear algebra or calculus. Why should we learn this? If like some departments like IR, international relations, or I don't know, maybe architecture, even architecture, they need this. I understand, but even these students, you know, they ask this. Okay. So number one, I think we should actually be, how to say, agree on this. That's, you know, I don't know how to express this. When we teach math, all right, we are not teaching, for example, let's say quadratic equation, right? Or trigonometric identities or Pythagorean theorem, right? We are not actually teaching only the concept. That means we are not delivering the concept to the students. If we define the quality education like this, it is not sufficient, right? It's insufficient. Actually, what we're expecting this through learning math, right? And we have a definition. After that, we give theorem and prove it and see some examples. After that, application, right? And now we are actually teaching them the tools, right? The tactics and the methods, right? And using these methods, students should use their skill, right? How much they are good at this using, right? By solving the questions using this one. So it's a kind of, establishing, as one actual speaker said, it's a kind of establishing, brain wiring, right? In our, maybe cells in our brain, maybe if you call this cells, you know, we are establishing kind of brain wiring so that actually they can make good connection when they see different problem, right, in the future in life, so they can make connections. And that's why should they learn math? To improve your problem solving skill. And that's why when you just see that as a teacher, as a person, you know, I see a lot. You see the big difference between educated person and uneducated person. An educated person, even you go to market, buy something, very simple calculation, they have to use calculator. Even using calculator, they make a big mistake, but they are not aware of this. Sometimes you have to pay maybe $15 and they say that you have to pay $12. And I show them, look, it's not correct. And they just look at me. I'm supposed to pay $15, not 12, without using a calculator. Okay, anyway, so again, once again, actually by teaching math, you know, of course it has a lot of application, you know, a lot of application for the people who have this question. Okay, by teaching math, we are teaching them, okay, by using tactics and methods or techniques, right, and how to solve problem. As they use, when I took my first tutorial from one professor when I was grade 9 in Tashkent, okay, he was just giving this example. Look, Custom, actually, you know, in our brain, we have like 2-3 balls. They're moving. That's actually our, engine, right? So by learning math, you are just oiling your, that's balls, or you're nourishing your balls. So that actually, if they are smooth enough, right, they can move fast. They can work fast. And also teaching math is something like this. By learning math, right, you are actually, how to say, training your brain how to work faster, how to think faster, right? And how to make connections between things. And that's why math education, especially in secondary school, everybody must know. It's not only for the students who are actually good in math, everybody, to a certain extent, okay? I'm not saying that everybody should learn at the same level, but to a certain extent, they should learn. And these are just a few quotes that I got from the internet. Learning math is good for your brain. Math helps you tell time. Math helps you with your finances. right? Especially this finances. Let me just focus on this, especially these days. It's very popular that a lot of people are buying houses, right? We call this mortgage, I think, right? And just you get the house and pay some deposit, maybe like 10%. Let's say if your house is about $100,000, so you have to pay maybe $15,000, and the rest, right? It just actually distributes over a period of time, maybe 15 years or 20 years. But during this time, teachers actually calculate like this. Okay, in 10 years or 15 years, I'm going to pay every month $500, right? But actually, they don't know. They are most of the people, I think, they are not aware that the banks charge how much interest, right? Maybe that actually house, if you have cash, you can buy for $50,000, but bank is selling this to you for $100,000, right? But you are making yourself happy. Okay, in 20 years, after 20 years, it will be, the house will be my house. But after 20 years, you become maybe 60 years old, right? And the whole life that you have to think about this miscalculation, right? And of course, some people, they should do that. But I think if you are really good at math, making some calculation, you know, instead you can save some money, give some time, and you can buy that $100,000 for $50,000. Anyway, that's what just my thought. Actually, a lot of people are buying this. I cannot change their opinion about this. So math makes you a better cook or baker. That's also the nice statement that I like. You know, when I was teaching at this Paragon, formerly it was Zaman, I was teaching, you know, we have girls and boys, they're separated, they're different sections. So especially girls size, you know, grade 11 or 12, and most of the girls, maybe they were not interested in math, you know. I was thinking always, how can I involve everyone in math class so they can feel that everybody should learn something, okay? And I give a project. I was teaching, I think maybe grade 8 students, I guess, okay? And I was teaching about ratio, rate, and speed, okay? And an idea came, okay, Alin, for example, as a student's name, a few students, I'm going to give a project, okay? So now we are going to see the application of math in cooking. And they were just wondering, you know, how is it possible? How we are going to see math in cooking or baking? And I told them, if you do this, well, I'm going to give you 100 points for your project. What is it? For example, person A, student A, you're going to make a cake, okay, using these ingredients in this ratio. Let's say it's for 5 people. The second student, and increase all ratios at the same rate, okay? For example, for 5 people, if you use, let's say 100 grams of sugar, for 10 people, now we have to use 100 grams of sugar, right, to maintain the taste of this cake. And the 2 or 3 different students, right? All right. So they just went home and they filmed their cooking and everything, and they were so happy, you know. Now, even if I meet these students after maybe 8-9 years, still they remember this. So they said, how is it related? They did some research, and after that, it just came out, For example, as a chef, right? Sometimes if you're working in a hotel, big hotel, okay, so you have to cook something for 100 people, maybe next day for 200 people, but next day maybe for 500 people. But usually if you visit these 5-star hotels, right, the taste is always the same, right? After 1 year, I go to the same hotel in Malaysia and just taste the food. It's the same thing, right? And you wonder, how is it so? Why? Because keeping the ratio, right? They're keeping the ratio of the ingredients, right? So you can actually give or produce the same taste. Also the timing, everything, you have to increase in the same ratio. Otherwise, for 5 people, right, adding 100 grams of sugar, when you're cooking for 10 people, right, if you're using 150, you'll see that it will be less sweet, right? And people immediately notice, this is actually, maybe the chef actually changed or something happened to their quality. Anyway, math helps us have better problem solving skills. And especially as secondary school students, most students actually struggle to solve word problems, you know, because to solve, for example, again, let's say quadratic equation or maybe some trigonometric equations, right? You just need to follow fixed steps. We have a fixed algorithm to solve questions, and that's why you can just actually write the algorithm. We can solve this using some programming language, right? For example, MATLAB or even spreadsheet, right? Or Excel, we can solve this, right? But how about if you give word problem, right? And let's say, what is it? Person A is moving, traveling from town A to town B at the speed, right? If he increases speed by 5, he will save this much time. He will save, let's say, 30 minutes. What is his original speed? But actually, we may have actually the method to solve this one, but usually this kind of problems appear in very, very different form and from different branches of science, right? One is related to biology, one is related to physics, another one is related to maybe chemistry or finance, right? So every time when students are solving this, they need to make different approach, right? There's no any fixed fixed method to solve this kind of questions. That means at first they should understand every word, right? And they have to introduce suitable variables to label or represent unknowns. And after that, they have to, the most challenge part is they have to set up, right, an equation. That means that they have to transform that word problem into algebraic equation, right? And it's all about your problem solving skill, right? If you're good at problem solving skill, and you can do this. And now one thing came to my mind also, let me answer this question. Sometimes people ask that, okay, if you're saying that we have some math people, let's say math teacher, they are good in math, but they are not in good business, for example, or maybe they are not going, for example, let's say driving or something else. Why is it so? Actually, they are math professors, let's say math teachers, or they're good in math. I think, okay, about this problem, I think when you're learning math, okay, I also say sometimes students, they just solve the equation very quickly, very good, but simple problems, practical problems, they cannot think, okay? What is missing, I think, in their skill, right? I think is, what is this? Critical thinking skill. What is critical thinking skill is, actually I wrote this thing in the last slide of my presentation. Asking the question why to yourself, not to others. I'm teaching math, why, right? And the room is hot, why? For example, I'm working in Cambodia, why, right? I'm going to teach at university, why? Okay, this why question, okay, I'm teaching, for example, quadratic equation. And personally, when I see this kind of, I don't know if I can say flow, it's a good word or not, in teachers. When I was at high school or university, I always thought if I teach math, I would teach in this way. I would provide more examples. I would try my math knowledge in our daily life situations. I always thought this, and still I have been thinking about this one. I try to connect everything to math. I don't know how good it is. And those people, they just focus on the theoretical part. I think that's why they don't know how to apply math much in application. Because if you go too deep in theory, then also you may move away or deviate from your, the application. And that's why we should take this parallel, Okay, you're teaching something. Okay, provide some examples for real life situation. If possible, yourself, try to apply this. Okay, if possible, if you can. And that's why for this kind of teachers, I would suggest, okay, with your teaching, also ask yourself, where can I use this? How can I use this? Okay. And if possible, spend some time doing yourself at home, for example. For example, let's say you are teaching trigonometry. Okay. I don't know how many teachers did this. What is the height of this building? Or tree, let's say very high, coconut tree. Okay. But did you ever go out, take a calinometer? We say calinometer, right? It's a kind of device that measures the angle, let's say between the horizontal line and angle of elevation, right? We use calinometer. You measure this, right? Maybe with your kids, did this, right? How many times did you do that? Or how many times did you just go to the bank and get their brochure and see the interest rates, right? If you buy a house and you're going to pay this much, bank is earning this much, for example. Did you ever do this? I don't think that most people do this, but curiosity is a key to success. If you do not push ourselves to get interested, we cannot develop. We have to if you're not curious, sometimes, I joke with my students, look, if you don't understand what I'm teaching, okay, pretend that you understand. Pretend that you're listening to me. Sometimes by pretending, we are actually pushing ourselves. And all of a sudden, maybe you become interested. You don't know that, right? And that's why it's really important what you're teaching. First, we have to know ourselves. Why am I teaching? Okay, how important it is. Okay, let's continue. Practically every career uses math in some way. Math is all around us and helps us understand the world better, especially these days, technologies, everything is, using numbers and a small mistake, especially if you're paying with your app, right? And that's why math skills, I think, is more important than ever, I think. Anyway, the last one is math is the universal language, and the most math teachers are in the world, maybe all, which I think in the somehow in similar way. We understand each other well, even if we do not actually make a correct sentence, we can feel or we can understand what you're talking about. I think let me move on. Delivering math classes. So also I want to talk about this, what is it? Delivering math classes. How can we actually deliver our math classes in, say in high quality? Okay, so the students are satisfied. Number one, we ourselves are satisfied, right? Second one, students are satisfied. And if possible, also, the vice principals and principals, and so they say that, okay, it's fine. They don't actually criticize you. And of course, there are a lot of factors. I just wrote a few of them here. The most important factor here is, I think, time management, right? Time management is if your session length is 40 minutes, right? How do you manage this time? Are you going to teach for the whole 40 minutes? I think it's not a good idea. Again, this one for 5 minutes, you need to spend 5 minutes, maybe 3 to 5 minutes for motivation, right? Maybe recap. Okay, students, you enter the classroom. Hi, everybody. How are you? Or Mr. Andy, why do you look sad today? Or, for example, Miss John, why are you so happy today? Would you like to share, for example, blah, blah, the things, right? And after that, you should start. Okay, after waking up everybody, then you should offer some food, right? Everybody's sleeping, offering food. Nobody is this. So waking up, after that, maybe you can also talk about yourself. Oh, yesterday I had a dream, it was about something. Or yesterday I actually ate something, it was so delicious, okay? So students, you to attract students' attention. And use of language, maybe if you're using your own language, it's fine. Okay, I think it's not a big problem. But for us, I'm not an English speaker, and English is not my first language, actually, but still, all the time you need to make a preparation. You need to use the right word, the right sentence. And also, if you use not advanced, the pure mathematical language is also attractive. Every time if you're just using simple words, and students say that, oh, this teacher has, poor English, and they may not want to listen to you. And how can we improve our math language, right? Using the right words, maybe sometimes telling a story, or telling math jokes, right? And self-confidence, actually, also using right language, that's proper language, that's really important. Another one is seating plan. That actually a lot of teachers make this mistake, not a lot, let's say a few teachers, okay? Good students, they sit in the first row, and weak students, they sit at the back row, for example, okay? The seating plan to be fair, all right? And we have to maybe, at time we had to change their seating plans. Okay, where sometimes good student should sit next to maybe a bit weak student in the class, so that they can cooperate, right? Help each other. But actually, it is teacher's job to create this atmosphere, so that the student who is helping, he enjoys or she enjoys. The student who is receiving help, also he must enjoy, right? She enjoys this in this way. And even sometimes, if possible, I tell them, even in the giving quiz, not maybe final exam, quiz, okay, group, okay, 2 people, okay, you can do it together. And especially weak students get so happy, somehow they get interested in math. And before I forget, I want to tell one thing, okay, before I continue here. And delivering math classes and quality education, if you are teaching at secondary school, one of the most important factors, not only at secondary school, also even at university, because at university it's a bit difficult. You're teaching a big audience. You have maybe 50, 60, 70, sometimes 100 students. It's hard to know everybody. And sometimes you just teach only one semester. You don't have much time to know every student. For teachers, if you want to give quality education, and even the students are weak, they respect you or they respect the subject, okay, I think we have to know about the student well, their background or their family status, why their condition. And sometimes, I meet a student, every time he's a problem. He's not interested, he doesn't want anything. And I ask, let's have coffee outside and eat something. And you ask, why actually do this? Actually, here's a family problem, maybe the parents are divorced, for example, or maybe he has some problem with his siblings. That's why he cannot focus on this problem. I mean, on his education. And now if you use the best method to teach this kid, it's really hard. So now first you have to solve another problem, right? After that, he may learn math. Another student may be from, let's say, a primary school. Maybe he didn't like, or she didn't like his math teacher. That's why he's not learning, right? So we have to solve this kind of student problems. That's why, if possible, face to face, if we have somehow, to some extent, some information about our students, if you know our audience well, and also it's really, helps us to give quality math education. That means that everybody can learn something about math. And use of up-to-date technologies, that means, what is it? If we have, let's say, especially these days, right? And a lot of teachers, I think they have experience in teaching online. And at the beginning, I think, including myself, for maybe a few months, 3-4 months, I struggled a lot because 2020, the COVID came, and all of a sudden our university actually made a decision to switch from physical teaching to online teaching. So we have to learn the system, right, and everything, and also teaching online. Now you're teaching, everybody's quiet, maybe you don't see most people's faces, right? You talk, and sometimes you just ask, do you have any question? Silence. Okay, did you understand? Silence again. And some students, you ask a question, and after that you regret. Why? Because he has very slow internet connection, and when he speaks, we don't understand, and you're wasting time. And I actually started doing a lot of research. How can we teach math well on at least improve our teaching online? Okay. And step by step, first I learned the system and Google Classroom, how to give a test. At the beginning, I used Google Form, and it was really easy to cheat from each other. And even I thought about this, how can I solve this problem? And day by day, I improved. Number one, how to write on the screen, right? Using Wacom tablets. And after the given, using Google Classroom, and nicely. And for tests also, I got one site, testmos.com. Maybe most of you know this, testmos.com is also a very nice website. If you're a teacher, they have discount, and for 1 year only $25. And preparing math questions, for pop-up quizzes or even midterm exams, it's really good. Now, step by step, students are learning this, so it becomes part of their life. Sometimes, even at night, I have one question, for example, comes to an interesting question, and I ask, it's in Testmos, everybody, they enter with their email address, okay? And I say, okay, you have 1 hour. If you solve this question, you have extra 20 points for your quiz, okay? And I ask them, you can talk to your parents and everybody, just solve me, because it's an original question. They cannot find this on the internet. Okay, this also kind of keeping students, up to date with your education. And also showing that how we are using this technology, right? Reaching out people so easily, so quickly, and also collecting information so fast, because the answer, you can see all the names in the list, and you can see who did how. And of course, it's all about, you need to make some commitment. You sit and work and prepare this. So we need to create your own resources. And otherwise, being a good teacher, it takes time. All of a sudden, you just start, even you're the smartest person at the university, you start your teaching career in 1 or 2 years. Being a good teacher is very hard. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 1% of the teacher, 5%, maybe 10%, they may be like this, but usually it takes time, right? Maybe the first year you teach this, you make some mistakes, okay? Next year, you try to improve that part. And next year, you actually can teach better, right? Even at university, I see that's the first year when I was teaching Calculus 1, or now I'm teaching Calculus 1. Well, the first time I teach linear algebra, and now it's much, much better. But am I satisfied? Still not satisfied, I want to teach some in different way. And that's why, in math, we say that mastery skill is really, really good in math. Every time you're pushing yourself, every time, until the end of life, it never ends. It's not like fixed rules that you have to follow and do this. And different venues at times means that, sometimes you can use your own room. Sometimes you can just take them to outside and teach them outside. if your class size is not so big, sometimes take them to restaurant and teach them there, or shopping mall or coffee shop, right? Sometimes, so that you just give them the different tastes. And if you ask the student maybe after 10 years, what do you remember about the high school? I think most of them say they don't remember what you taught, how you taught trigonometric identities or quadratic equations, right? If you took them to the central bank or outside, or you had picnic, they remember the things, right? Oh, you remember we had coffee together. Oh, you remember actually we had class in the coffee shop, right? Oh, you remember you visited my house, right? And that's why we should not ignore also this, parameters. Okay, and Mr. Fendi, how much time I have? How much more time?
Well, you still have 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay, then I will speed up. Okay, so after 5 minutes, I'll finish. Assessments and term projects. Okay, you know that in general assessment we have two types of assessments: formative and summative. But usually, I prefer to give formative assessments. And sometimes, just teaching at the end of the maybe quarter, right, or 2 months, asking everything from the 2 months for this new generation, I don't think it's a good idea. I think, okay, if you teach one chapter, finish it, give a quiz, right? The second chapter, give a quiz again. Maybe combine it together, you can give as a midterm, right? And daily pop-up quizzes in this way. After all, now we are just loaded with a lot of information. Everybody, I don't know if there anybody who does not use smartphone nowadays. You just open this, you open one website, right, and you're interested in another information and watch something. You can never stop this. Why? We have a lot of people nowadays, they have addiction, right, especially among young people. And that's why, it's really hard for students now to teach something for 2 months, and after 2 months you're going to ask. Okay, and that's why I think formative assessment, pop-up quizzes, and also chapter quizzes, and maybe daily homework, not too much, maybe a few questions. Okay, it will be much better. Okay, so let me just talk about meetings and clubs. How important, for example, let's talk about meetings. Department meetings especially is about, what is this, motivation, right? When you see other math teacher and listen to each other and share your thoughts or struggles or hardships, right? And somehow it gives you a strength. Oh, I'm having this difficulty, and also that person also has difficulty. Then we need to find a solution to this, right? And come together, talk about this. Even, for example, if you don't have any specific topic, meeting maybe once in a week or once in 2 weeks together, right, and discussing this, it really gives us motivation as math teachers. And that's why department meetings, I think, is really important. Even sometimes we should give a test to teachers once a year, maybe once a 6 months, okay, how they're doing this, okay? Let them see their own level. Asking, for example, if a teacher is teaching, for example, grade 9 students, choose challenging questions, okay, and give them how they do it, okay? In this way, also, it pushes us to get better and better. And how about clubs? Clubs are another phase of, what is it, quality education. Usually in almost, we have clubs in every branch in secondary school. Especially involving students in math club is not easy, what I experience, For example, let's say, okay, chess. Okay, you just teach them, then what is the next step, right? Can they actually join some, let's say, district level chess competition or inter-school chess competition? There must be the next step. Okay, I just learned this, that's enough. No, right? And that's why maybe if you are organizing this math class for fun purpose, but still, if you're organizing chess club, if you can bring some chess masters, okay, because we are math teachers, but we may not be good at chess master, for example, it will be a good idea. And the Math Olympiad Club, I think every school should have this Math Olympiad Club, because usually in every class we have some students, they are not satisfied much with the curriculum level math, right? They want to learn more and more. To satisfy their need, we need to have Math Olympiad Club, and at the same time, it's a good thing for math teachers to develop themselves. Anyway, let me continue. Extracurricular activities and competitions and the Olympiads. Let me talk about this. After that, I will finish. Nowadays, like Komodo, when I heard about Komodo, actually, that's my friend told me about this. Before that, I had never heard about this Komodo. Even here, they're organizing in Cambodia, but the first time. And I just opened the websites and the design and everything. It was so fancy. I just like a lot. Oh my gosh. And immediately I remember that Mr. Mehmet, because I worked with him in Mandalay in Myanmar for, I think, 2 years, maybe more than 2 years. And he's also a math teacher. At the same time, he loves, using computer, maybe design or programming, Immediately I thought maybe actually he initiated, maybe some people together initiated, and I really love this. And that's why, when he invited, I say, why not? I really want to share the things with other teachers. And this inter-school competitions and the inter-school competitions, international competitions. Let's just talk about this inter-school, Mr. Fandi, and I will finish, okay? So inter-school competitions, like when I was, again, second high school, we organized a lot of, competitions. Always, students are talking about math. It doesn't have to be very challenging, but if students come together and they enjoy this, that is our purpose. Like even, for example, let's say when I organize this Connect 4, right? This game Connect 4, and I ordered a lot of Connect 4 from China, and one of my students, his family was doing this business, and we just sold them to the students at cheap price. Everyone, when they get bored, they were playing. It doesn't take much, we have 42 holes. You have to just fill in with your pieces. Who actually connects 4 pieces horizontally or vertically or diagonally first, he's a winner. That's a simple game, Even they were practicing with their parents at home all the time, carrying this bag, Actually, this kind of events organizing in school between the students, it takes time, of course, but you need to convince your principal, this how important it is. If you convince at break time, lunchtime, we can organize well. And this kind of things really improve the bonding, right? The bond between the students, and also they increase their love for math. We have a lot of competitions. There's just examples. We should do this at least once a semester, maybe twice a year. And now we have a lot of competitions to motivate good students, right? Who have actually passion for math. We have AIMO, Singapore and Asian School Math Olympiad, American Math Olympiad, TIMO, CIMOC, and what is it? VIMO, as far as I know, this Komodo, a few of them. We have a lot of competitions now. Kangaroo Math Olympiad, for example. And so it's a kind of good purpose for us, to bring, to prepare students for such Olympiads. And also it's another reason, good motivation for us to improve our teaching skill, math skill, and everything. Mr. Fan, I think that's much enough. Maybe students are waiting. I'm really thankful. I really thank you and for all your team to organize and to invite. And maybe, we can continue and to talk about on more specific topics, okay, as math teachers, okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Abdul Kasim. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your wealth of experience. Yeah, very, very useful knowledge for us teachers. Yeah, so the 3 keywords that I heard at the beginning, autonomy, mastery, and purpose. Yeah, they're very important for teachers and for students as well. Okay, so let me open the session to the audience. Yeah, if some of you want to ask question, you can type it in the chat box, or you can raise your hands and ask it directly by opening your mic and camera. Oh, I have seen someone in the chat box. Yeah. Oye Bamiji Timothy Ayomide. Okay, so let me read your question. Why is that focusing on literacy and numeracy is recognized as insufficient and outdated? That's the first question. And the second one, how can math make one popular? Okay, Mr. Abdul Kasim.
This literacy and numeracy, as I have mentioned through earlier, what is our purpose of teaching math? Okay, we should first answer this question. To prepare a well-educated person for our society, or just to learn math well, at school. If a student is good in math, right, they should be able to work in a bank and use their knowledge whether they actually learn at high school, right? And you say about literacy and numeracy, as I told you, a lot of people very good, but they struggle in social life. Even they don't know how to communicate with each other, or if they actually work in different environments, right? They have a problem. And that's why we are not saying that it is not enough, just literacy, okay, numeracy, you are good, but you are not a proper person to live with other people, to communicate with other people, to share your knowledge with other people. I know I can count a lot, right? And that's why if, for example, only math, you are good, right? Maybe as a teacher, most of you meet this very good student, you know, if you talk to this guy, you know, he's not able to share or to express his feeling, right? And that's why after, for example, as after graduates, okay, you are very good in literacy and blah, blah, blah. So you are working different environment under different conditions, right? Sometimes under a lot of pressure, maybe, I don't know, this kind of things. And just having knowledge is not enough. You need to have experience in different fields of science. Maybe in the past, you know, if you're just good is enough. Like, for example, let's say you're good at the things, but nowadays you don't know how to use technology well, for example. In the class, you're not using technology. Technology means that you don't know how to use laptop well, you don't know how to prepare online quiz well, for example, right? You don't know how to talk people in psychologically, right? And you cannot be successful. As a math teacher, even you cannot be successful, right? And that's why actually, you know, our purpose is not to go too deep, but students, okay, when they get this education, they should be ready to work in any field of society using their knowledge.
Okay, what about the second question, sir? How can mathematics make one more popular?
You know, let me just, here's one thing here that even that quote, I don't know, I put some quotes here. What is popular is not always right. What is right is not always popular. And it's very meaningful quotes. What is popular is not always right, but what is right is not always popular. And it depends on the definition of your popularity, right? For example, for some people, if you think that, okay, on Facebook, I have 5,000 followers, so I'm a popular. But another guy, maybe he has a few, for example, very nice, good, let's say math teacher, okay? He has a few followers. Does it mean that he's not popular? You know, and that's why popularity depends on your, what is its purpose. Because also in the history, we know the people, right? They don't actually, they are scholars, for example. I don't know if as a Muslim, you know, I want to give this example as a Muslim, okay? I don't know well, others is the right thing or not. For example, no prophet, right? How many followers did he have? Right? No prophet. How many? Actually, he was a prophet. He is the wisest person in the society, right? And he was the one who was guiding people to the right path, right? But most of the people, they didn't follow. But does it mean that he's not popular, for example? And we have some people, let's say, they have maybe 1 million followers, like, for example, dancers or some kind of hip-hops, right? But it doesn't mean that they are popular people in the right sense. And that's why I think when you are thinking about popularity, okay, popularity means that are you following your own life path and making your own life, actually, as we mentioned in the second slide in the quote, right? And but if you are expecting from people, right, I'm teaching well, people should appreciate, okay? I'm teaching my students, everybody must learn math, okay? I think these are the what is it, not the right approach to quality education. But my approach is, as a teacher, am I doing my thing, my delivering class, teaching everything in the best way? Okay, am I satisfied first? Okay, yeah, the principal talks about other people. Usually, I don't care much. You know, when I teach, I know my quality, I know my weakness. So, am I working on my weakness? Okay, so that is the most important thing. And see the popularity. If you're expecting, usually, you know, less expectation, less disappointment, right? And more expectation, more disappointment. You just post something and people don't like this, or you have this. No, I think for educators, it's not the right thing. We should not expect much. We should focus on ourselves, you know. And also, let me tell you one actually quote from Rumi. Yesterday, I was clever, right? I wanted to change the world, right? Now I am more clever, so I want to change myself, right? But even if you change yourself, that is a success for us, I think. If you change, people then change. Your actual teaching will be efficient. Okay, number one. Number two is also actually, if you really want to be popular in math, okay, just learning math is not enough. If you work at international school, you need to focus on your, for example, technology. If you use computer well, okay, social media well, and also if your language is well, and if you are active, and automatically people like you and you become popular.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. We have some other questions. Let's look at the second one. This is from Lukman Nuradi Prawadika. So the question is, not every school has a math Olympiad club. So I found some schools, the students and teachers are clueless about math Olympiad, and they don't even participate. Do you think this is a problem?
The school, Mr. Van, is it a public school or private school?
Oh, I don't know. It doesn't inform us. So do you think that is a problem? And if so, how to resolve the problem?
Oh, okay, let me actually just do this in two folds. All right. For public schools, and personally in my lifetime, and I have never worked in public schools or public institutions, you know. I work in private international schools or private university. And but my brother, my sister, so they are working in public schools, and I know how it works because too much paperwork in public schools. Okay. So now let me just talk about private schools, okay? Because I have no experience in public schools. They say that it is hard and blah, 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 maybe. But in private schools, you know, the top priority is to satisfy students and parents, right? And for this, management team or admin team or principals, they should do everything they can because you have a budget, you have money, right? If you're not a new school, right? And all departments, they have some budget, right? And that's why math teachers, they should propose to the principal how important it is. Okay. And after that, even if teachers, they cannot do this, now you can find a lot of teachers from outside. If you cannot, maybe physically, all right, maybe online. Now in the world, we have a lot of teachers. We can find this, right? So they should do this. It is a must, I think, because math Olympiad, you know, when they teach, maybe if you have 500 students, if you prepare 5 students for math Olympiad, it would be a great success. Maybe World Math Olympiad is really hard, but now, as I said, you know, previously we have mentioned about these Olympiads, they're not too hard. But actually their purpose, I know, for example, Asia International Math Olympiad, SASMO, Singapore, and blah, blah, blah. Before, when I was teaching high school, I prepared for this. The main purpose is to motivate students because they are awarding the top 40% of the students. You know, it's not like World Math Olympiad. Everybody gets happy. Even if you don't get anything, you get certificate, right? Certificate of participation. And this is happening almost every month. You know, it's a good, how to say, push for our students. And that's why if you do not have, but if you're willing to have Math Olympiad Club, okay, math teachers first, you need to convince each other. If you agree, right? And you need to give your proposal to the principal. Okay, if they don't agree, I think maybe you should voluntarily should do this. Okay, I'm not requiring anything from you. Can I do this? Start with 1 or 2 students. People should see this, you know, when they see their success. If people talk in the newspapers or in the social media about their school, I think everybody will change their mind. Who doesn't want it, right? This kind of popularity. Okay, for example, Mr. X actually from Paragon, and they got gold medal in, let's say, in SASMO, for example, or Komodo, for example, right? And that's why I think it is teachers' duty to convince the principal and to initiate this Math Olympiad, this activity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We still have maybe one more question. This one is from Stephen Ganda Dinata. Hi, Mr. Abdul Kasim. How can you make learning mathematics inclusive for all learners, especially for grade 7 or lower secondary? Thank you.
Very good. Lower secondary, I think it's not a big deal because lower secondary means grade 6, 7, 8, right?
Yeah, normally.
Yeah. Usually in grade 7, most of the students, they face a challenge to use algebra because they are introduced with fundamental algebra or elementary algebra. And just from primary school to high school, right? After teaching a few topics, and they start learning fundamental algebra, and after solving linear equations and using them, especially in grade 7, there are a lot of topics, and all topics are really, really important. Okay, and that's why most students, they struggle in grade 7. Number one. Number two is, everything starts with the teacher, what I believe. If your friendliness, okay, smile, and dealing with students individually, not only group, right? And this is the first solution to this problem, to actually make students get interested in this subject. Because once they're interested, if they convince themselves, oh, I have to study, this one is nice, okay, then you can teach everything. But before this, without any math, okay, you have to know your students well. If your student actually likes football a lot, but not interested in, let's say, math, okay, talk to him about football, not about math, right? If another student likes tennis, for example, talk to him about, for example, what is it, tennis. Like even I'm not a young kids, but I'm a math teacher and I play tennis. I have passion for tennis. If people talk about tennis, I can talk for about 1 or 2 hours. But if they talk about cricket, for example, okay, after 5 minutes you get bored. You want to change the subject, because I have no idea about cricket. I'm never played this game. That's why the students are interested in what. That's why you should know your students well in the first step, their background, if possible. Give a family visit if possible. If not, talk to them one-to-one. And after this, if you see that some students are struggling to understand this, okay, and call them on Saturdays, okay? We call this Saturday Plus program. Actually, I included this, but we didn't have time to mention this Saturday Plus program. This is what I did. Saturday Plus program, I call the students and invite the teachers or the parents. I'm going to help your kids, okay? And work or do their homework together and eat pizza together, And in this way, you can involve. And there are a lot of factors. I'm just giving some examples. And the most important thing is you should know your student well, your audience, and talk individually why he's not interested, why he is weak. And you can organize some after school or Saturday Plus program for such students. As you see here, once again, achievement doesn't mean that everybody learns at the same level. No. If students doesn't know how to add numbers, for example, learning this one is a success for them, right? And now for example, if they don't know how to add numbers, they know how to add numbers from 1 to 10, but not 10 to 20, right? So learning one number, learning how to add numbers from 10 to 20, that's a success, right? And that's why for example, grade 7 or 8, if student doesn't know how to solve linear equation, just if we can teach how to solve very simple linear equation, it's a success, right? And success means that making 1, 2, right? Or making 2, 3. It doesn't mean that making 1 or 100, or I would say bringing everybody to the same level. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So we still have maybe 1 or 2 more questions, but unfortunately our time is very limited. So I would have to close this Q&A session. So again, thank you everyone from the audience who asked their questions, and thank you to Mr. Abdul Kasim for answering those questions. Maybe I would welcome you to deliver some closing remarks for your talk, sir.
Yeah, actually, if Mr. Fan, if possible, if you organize a physical this kind of meeting in Indonesia, I would be really glad to meet and to actually join this kind of conference and share the thoughts and bringing math teacher together. It is also a great success, sharing our thoughts, sharing our difficulties and everything. Especially nowadays, I think we need this more than before, more than ever. Why? Because the education system is changing. I mean, the people are changing so rapidly. And now I think most of the education systems are outdated, right? It must be updated. And who update this education system? I'm talking about math education. Let's say it's our topic, okay? So sometimes we should talk about, do some brainstorming and thinking about how can we offer better math education to young generation. Maybe if you organize another events, including this thing, I would be really glad to meet, to join and what is it, participate in this kind of discussions and seminar. I really thank you very much for organizing such beautiful, nice event, bringing a lot of people together, okay, making math actually lovely or sweet to everybody. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much. So with that, I will give the floor back to the MC, Mr. Adi.
All right, thank you very much, both Mr. Fendi and Mr. Abdul Kasim. That was a really beautiful topic on this remark. A lot of insights, a lot of new ideas about mathematics, teaching mathematics especially. And I do believe that everyone attending this event today, especially a lot of teachers are attending this event for this morning, will be inspired. And as you can see that even we provided a couple of minutes for Q&A session, it was not enough because there were so many questions regarding the topics and they want to know more about teaching mathematics and all that. And maybe we will follow up with another session. Hopefully, I don't know, just stay tuned and follow us on Komodo Competitions on Instagram and on our websites. In regards to the comments from Mr. Abdul Kasim about offline event, we do have something in mind, maybe next year or the year after, because as you know that the regulations regarding COVID, especially in Indonesia, is still quite difficult to get around this kind of events, especially in the regulations. But hopefully with the thoughts and prayers of everyone, especially this year, if you give enough support, is everyone registered to these competitions and we see that the enthusiasms of all the participants and the teachers supporting the participants are high enough, we will be more than happy, we will be more than glad, we will be more than willing to actually arrange an event offline based on Indonesia, of course. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the main session for today. I would like to remind you to fill out the survey whose link has been sent in the chat box. If you want to receive the e-certificates, please do not forget to fill out the e-certificates. All right, and then if you remember in the poster and in social media, when we share the news about this webinar, we would be giving out 5 free Komodo webinar vouchers. Well, we will just do that, to be honest here. We arrange the distributions of free vouchers to be like this. 2 of the vouchers would be given to 2 of the best questions that was asked during the Q&A session. And then after deliberations from Mr. Fandi and Mr. Abdul Kasim, 2 of the free registration vouchers would be given out to Mr. Oyebamiji Timothy Ayumide and Mr. Lukman Nuradi Prawadika. To both Mr. Oyebamiji Timothy and Mr. Lukman Nuradi, please contact the organization committee either from Instagram or from WhatsApp. The WhatsApp number can be found in komodocompetition.com to claim your vouchers. Of course, you can claim it on behalf of your students or your families or your colleagues or your relatives. You can, congratulations for receiving the vouchers. We still have 3 vouchers free to grab for everyone. So what will we do is actually we are going to draw it using a lucky wheel or wheel of names. Okay, Mr. Operator, do you have the wheel ready? Could you please open the wheel? All right. Before we spin the wheel, the names on this wheel are taken from those or everyone who registered to the webinar, and all the names are here. So we will be taking 3 names out of all the names listed in the wheel. And let us count together on 3. 1, 2, 3, spin on the first name. Okay, as you can see, there are so many names. However, we will only be taking 3 to receive free Komodo vouchers. Okay, the first one is Enobong Johnson Akpan. Congratulations to Enobong Johnson Akpan. Moving on to the second winner. to receive the second instance of free registration of Komodo Mathematics Competition 2023. Okay, congratulations to, I'm sorry, I do not read Russians, but we will be posting the names on social media. So congratulations to Mr. whomever the name is shown in the display. We will post it later. Okay, please contact the organization committee to claim the vouchers. Okay, the third one. So the vouchers worth $20 because the registration of Komodo is $20. Oh, the third winner is Dia Palupi Purba Sari. Congratulations to all three winners. Please contact, once again, please contact the organization committee to claim the vouchers. If you missed out the drawings, we will be posting the names of the winner on Instagram and on WhatsApp list. If you left the numbers and an email, we'll be contacting you from there. But before that, we want you to contact the organization committee to actually claim the vouchers. Once again, congratulations. You can claim the vouchers either for yourself or on behalf of other people. For example, if you want to give it to your students, or if you want to give it to your family members or colleagues or whomever, it's free for you because the rights is given for you 100%. And ladies and gentlemen, we are here at the end of our session for today. That was a really fruitful, really productive, really positive session filled with mathematic knowledges and mathematic fun. However, I would like to remind you that the Komodo Mathematics Competition registration is still open for the next 4 days and will be closed on 28th of March 2023. Also, we have a video contest, and this year video contest is open for everyone who loves mathematics. Last year it was only for teachers, but this year it is open for everyone. So if you love mathematics and if you want to create a content or a video based on mathematical knowledge, you can join the video contest, and the registration and the submission is still open until 28th of March 2023. More information, you can contact our organization committee or contact our Instagram page. So there are 3 winners that will be taken out from the video contest. The first winners will be given $100, and then the second winners will be given $50, and then one special winner, which is videos with most likes on YouTube, will be given out $100 in cash. All right, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, please do not forget to fill out the fill out the survey to receive the e-certificate. And if you love mathematics, we do encourage you to join us on Komodo competition this year. Simply click the link on www.komodocompetition.com and join us on the fiasco of mathematics funds. Komodo Mathematics Competition 2023, a playing ground for agile young minds. Thank you very much for attending. Have a good rest of the day and see you again on our next event. Adi Surya Dharmawan signing out. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.